As usual, you are looking for a tasks list that should have been posted as both an announcement and an assignment. It'll be tasks for U5L3, Monday 5/11. And so I decided to change things up with our project a little bit and try to go a little slower. My initial intention was to try to get like 3 lessons done and move on, but I want to take some time to actually reflect on these lessons and make sure we have some wiggle room. So we're only going to do 2 each day, and we're going to try to follow the order of the chapters. However, I know that there might be some differences in preparedness, and so if other groups are more prepared and ready to go, then we can go with those groups. And you guys in particular have a little bit of wiggle room that we can delay if we need to. But again, ideally, though, you'd have things done and ready on time. And I have seen a couple lessons posted on our discussion board, which is great. But the idea is that I'll be dedicating 20 minutes to each of these lessons. So I'll start the timer. Everything should be posted on this Science2A Solar System online lesson Canvas discussion. And we can see right here, if you click on that link, Bailey has posted a lesson, Julia has posted a lesson, and Sydney. So that's going to be Bailey and Grace, Julia and Cesar, and Sydney and Chloe, if I remember correctly, the groups. And so again, once your lesson is ready and you've got links and everything, you can post it here. Remember, you can edit your posts. So you can at least get something started here. And then if you want to change something up or change an order or add a new link, you can always come back and edit these, which is a nice little feature. But the idea is that we will work through the person's lesson with the links and instructions posted here for 20 minutes. And you also have those 20 minutes to get the assessment done. Then, once you are done going through the lesson, there are 2 things that you need to complete, okay? For those of you who are just classmates who are participating, who went through the lesson, I want you to provide feedback to the people who made the lesson with these 3 questions right here. Question 1 is, what is one new or interesting thing you learned from the lesson? 2, what is one question that comes to your mind about what this lesson covered? And 3, what did you like or not like about the online lesson or assessment tool used in this lesson? So you're reflecting on the tools that were used. You can do this in one of 2 ways. So you can either click reply on the Canvas post. So everyone see here that on the bottom of Julia's, there's a little reply button. On the bottom of Sydney's post, there's a reply button, right? So you click on that for that lesson, and you can type your answers to those questions as feedback for those people who made the lesson. Or I've also created a Flipgrid. If you look, there's a link to, so for Earth's Moon by Julia and Cesar, there's a link right there to Earth's Moon, Julia and Cesar feedback Flipgrid. Same thing for Will and Bear. And that'll just take you straight to Flipgrid. And it's the same 3 questions, same instructions. It's just that you would record a video of yourself answering those same 3 questions, right? What's something new and interesting you learned? What was one question you had? And what did you think of the tools that were used? That's the feedback you need to supply. For those of you who made the lesson, you obviously don't need to do that because you're the one who put the lesson together. Instead, for those of you who made the lesson, I have 2 Google Form surveys that I want you to fill out, which are right at the bottom here. Sorry, getting my stuff all mixed up here. There's the online lesson making reflection, and then the solar system test question collection. So the lesson making reflection is very similar to what your classmates are doing. It's just your chance to reflect on what it was like to make the lesson. What did you think of the tools you used for the lesson and the assessment? But then more importantly, as I have stated, you are going to be making the test for this unit. And so what I'd like you to do once your lesson has been gone through and you've gotten your feedback is to submit 1 multiple choice question and 1 free response question or open-ended question based on your online lesson. And these could be copied directly from one of your assessments. So it could be a question that you've already used and already given to your classmates, or it could be a completely new question. And again, you can split this up however you want. If one of you does the multiple choice, one of you does the free response, or you both collaborate on them, doesn't matter to me. You just have to submit them there. And then I will use that to stitch together a test towards the end of the unit. Okay, I know that was a lot of instructions, but it's all posted on the Canvas tasks board too. Any questions on that process? Okay, then without further ado, the first person on the list, the first group to go, will be Sydney and Chloe with the sun. Sydney and Chloe, do you feel like your lesson's ready?
Yeah.
Yep, okay. Then I'm gonna time for 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes to work through their post. and the assessment. And then again, even if it's still, if you get done before the 20-minute timer, you can go right ahead and start providing them feedback, right? So remember, if you finish the lesson, you can either hit reply on the discussion post, or you can post a Flipgrid video to the link provided. And those of you who, so Sydney and Chloe, I'm going to have you, am I coming through okay? Sydney and Chloe, I'm going to have you stand by. So just be ready to answer questions. You can kind of just chill, make sure you're listening. And then once we've discussed yours, you'll be filling out those forms. Got it? All right, kiddos. Again, this is the first time I've done this, but let's see how this goes. I'm going to time for 20 minutes to work through Sydney and Chloe's lesson. And then, so after 20 minutes, we'll come back together into the room to do a little discussion and reflection and then move on. Got it? All right, 20 minutes. Let's go. All right. Well, that was great. Chloe and Sydney, thanks for kicking us off as the first lesson. That was really well done, I thought. I'm glad that you posted a separate link to the video that you were playing, like within the video, because I think that allowed things to be a lot smoother. And good Kahoot idea. And did you guys know you can assign Kahoots individually, right? That you can work through. I mean, it's fun to do it as a group all together, but it is possible to assign, and then everyone can do that individually as well. Just a note to do, but I think it's fun. I mean, part of the fun of the Kahoot is to do it together as a group, so I think that worked well. All right, so next on the schedule is Bear and Will. However, I think you guys don't quite have everything ready, right?
Yeah, we're almost done, but we don't have everything ready just yet.
Okay. So I did notice that Julie and Cesar, you have posted your lesson. Would you say that's ready to go, or would you like to wait on that?
I think it's ready to go.
Think it's ready? Okay. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to update the assignment and the announcement on Canvas to have links to your stuff instead of Bear and Will's. So just give me 1 second to do that, and then we can get going on that. So let me figure this out here. Hi, kiddos. Sorry about that. So if you refresh your page, whether you're looking at both the announcement or the assignment for the tasks for today, if you refresh that now, Bears and Will should be replaced by Julia and Cesar's. Let me know if you're still not seeing that. But otherwise, is everyone seeing Julia and Cesar's lesson? It's the second one down. Cool. Okay, so head over to that discussion board and start to work through it. Again, I'll time for 20 minutes. Then we'll come back together for a little bit of feedback and closing. Go for it. All right, kiddos, it has been 20 minutes. Let's come back together, even if you're not done. I had about 3 minutes left in that Ed Puzzle video, but I will complete that later. So in the interest of time, we won't be able to go into breakout rooms, but any feedback for Julia and Cesar, or questions or comments on tools?
I like the layout of the Prezi. Thought it was really good. So props on that.
You guys think the moon landing was faked? It's all
I
fake.
remember that was interesting actually, because I was like, because I was looking at the facts that they said it was fake, and then I was looking at the photos, and they were like, oh, the wind and like the flag and stuff, and I was like, yeah, maybe, but like the other reason why I think it was like, I don't think it was fake, or I don't think it was real. I think it was real more on the fake side, because like the Americans were like competing with the Russians to see who could get to the moon first, and so the only reason why I think they would fake it is just to rub it in the Russians' face and say that they got there first, and like, oh, look, and so then maybe that creates speculation that it's fake, but I don't think it was fake. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
there's a lot of debate. I have seen they now have, what I was curious about was like, okay, if we can take satellite photos of Pluto, then
Mhm.
we've got to be able to take satellite photos of the surface of the moon, right? And like, can we see the landing pod? Can we see the tracks that were left by the little
Mhm.
buggy they had? And yes, they do actually have those. You can look them up. They have high definition images of the surface of the moon at all the various landing sites from the Apollo missions.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I mean, maybe those photos are fake too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was really interesting data, Julian Cesar. I like that you kind of put like the 4 points and then kind of had the like evidence that to contradict those. Yeah, and super interesting that like I didn't know Charles Darwin's son was like one of the originators of a theory about the origin of the moon. And the Ed Puzzle video, you asked very good questions, very detailed about phases of the moon. I had quite the experience in trying to explain when I was in the Gambia. Again, Muslims are very moon-centered with their religion. I'm trying to explain to Gambians about how, well, the moon is actually reflecting the sun's light, right? Because they think of the moon as generating its own light. Anyway, it had a very funny night trying to like talk all this out with them. But anyway, this was great. So again, we don't have time. I want to make sure we're ending on time here. So your homework is, for those of you who are going through the lessons, please make sure that you have posted either a reply on the discussion board or a Flipgrid video answering those 3 questions, right? One interesting or new thing you learned, one question you had, and what did you think, what did you like or not like about the lesson tool or assessment tool? Just as feedback. For those of you who had your lessons gone through today, make sure you have filled out those 2 forms, reflection on making it, and the test questions that you would like to submit. That is your only homework. Otherwise, groups that did not present, make sure you're ready to go. The next time we meet on Wednesday, let's Bear and Will, we'll go through your lesson. And we will also be doing, who's up after that? It looks like Bailey and Grace with what makes a planet suitable. So we'll go with that. Any questions? Cool. All right. Thanks, kids, very much. Have a good day. See you on Wednesday. Bailey, can I check in with you really quickly?
Yeah.